This morning on Sunrise Early News, Monday the 21st of October, a royal welcome. The King and Queen charm adoring fans in Sydney. Next stop, Canberra. Melbourne jewellery store heist. The manhunt after thieves strike a Craigieburn shopping centre. No TV and forced isolation. The Queensland opposition reveals the final part in its plan to crack down on young criminals. And would you like fries with that? Donald Trump dons an apron at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. Huge crowds are expected today in Canberra to greet the royal couple after Sydney rolled out the royal red carpet. Flag-waving, cheering crowds turned out to greet King Charles and Queen Camilla for the start of their royal tour. Fans lined the streets, many waiting for hours to see the royals, and some had travelled from halfway around the world for a glimpse of the monarch who declared he's always cherished Australia.
Sunday morning and a visit to church, but the crowds were undertaking a little worship as well. King Charles and Queen Camilla on the first event of their six-day tour, St Thomas's Anglican Church, North Sydney. The Sunday school kids flagging the enthusiasm to come.
How was that? You just met the King.
It was so fun! I loved it so much!
All right, one by one.
I loved it so much, it's so nice.
In the church where his great-grandfather laid the foundation stone 100 years ago, they prayed for Charles's health before the King signed their copy of the King James Bible, First Fleet Edition. Outside, the capacity crowds could pass their best wishes themselves.
I'm sorry there wasn't room for you in the church.
Oh, we would have definitely come.
For 30 minutes, their majesties worked their magic.
G'day, you've actually greetings from Tasmania.
It was monarchy madness. They shook hundreds of hands.
King Charles, welcome to Australia.
Where do you rate that? What do you think, meeting-wise?
10 out of 10.
That's on.
Waves of emotion, moving some to tears.
It was so thrilling. It was overwhelming, and I started to cry. And
Start to cry.
The crowd stretched for a shot. Phones were high, spirits too.
We've been here since 5 o'clock this morning. Yeah.
Worth the wait then.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't expect to feel anything much, but I did. A lot of people. I didn't actually realise I was a monarchist, but I am.
They brought gifts, packets of kangaroo jerky.
Do you think he's going to love eating kangaroo, or is he going to be a bit...
He had a bit of a love with me. He said, that's my kangaroo, yummy.
This woman travelled 9,000 kilometres from off the South African coast.
Exactly 15 hours. So
that is a really long trip.
absolutely.
You must really love the King and Queen.
Absolutely. We love the King and we love the Queen.
There were protesters held far back and far outnumbered. Some just carried away on enthusiasm. Security ever present.
This is the present for Queen Camilla. That's books. Okay, thank you.
Just before midday, their majesties moved off. The next engagement, a visit to State Parliament to mark the 200-year anniversary of the Legislative Council. It's his 17th visit to Australia, but his first as king, saying he couldn't be happier to be back.
What a great joy it is to come to Australia for the first time as sovereign and to renew a love of this country and its people, which I have cherished for so long.
He presented Parliament with an hourglass gift to time political speeches and even hinted time may see Australian politics change too.
Democratic systems must evolve, of course, to remain fit for purpose, but they are, nevertheless, essentially sound systems.
Outside Parliament, he was back to the crowds, where several thousand had gathered for a glimpse. Next meeting, an open arms greeting for the state's Governor, Margaret Beazley, followed by the new Governor-General, Sam Mostyn.
So today was a day all about church services and visiting Parliament, church and state, but it was also the first one of these. The term walkabout, now banned as inappropriate, they call them opportunities to meet the people.
Their majesties couldn't have met more. They've turbocharged the meet and greet. Casual, intimate, a royal audience for the masses. Chris Reason, 7 News.
So that was Sunday. Today, the King and Queen head to the nation's capital for the second leg of their whirlwind royal tour. King Charles and Queen Camilla will visit the War Memorial, where they'll lay a floral tribute. A ceremonial welcome will be held at Parliament House before their Majesties attend a reception hosted by the Prime Minister. The King will then hold an audience with Opposition Leader Peter Dutton. Anthony Albanese will have a separate meeting at Government House before their Majesties then visit the National Botanic Gardens. Full coverage coming up on Sunrise. In other news today, an armed gang of thieves is on the run after a brazen daylight jewellery store robbery in Melbourne's north. The smash and grab heist happened in front of customers at the busy Craigieburn shopping centre, plunging it into lockdown. The masked gang shattering glass jewellery displays, causing $10,000 worth of damage and stealing at least another $5,000 worth of jewellery. Queensland's top union leader has warned the state opposition leader that an incoming coalition government will face strike action if it doesn't deliver more than $1 billion in pay rises to nurses, teachers and police. David Christofouli officially launched the Liberal National Party's campaign yesterday in Labor heartland west of Brisbane. Meantime, Premier Stephen Miles was visiting the markets in Milton and Redcliffe but made no announcements. Queenslanders heading to the polls on Saturday. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers has promised families better days ahead in an exclusive interview on 7 News Spotlight. Mr Chalmers claims he is winning the fight on inflation.
The worst is behind us. We're still very focused on the fight against inflation, but we've made really quite substantial progress. Better days are ahead.
The Treasurer also marking 4 years sober, giving up alcohol after a health scare. Community backlash is growing across Melbourne following Premier Jacinta Allan's housing announcement that's set to transform the city. 50 suburban neighbourhoods are earmarked for high-rise apartments to be built above transport stations in a bid to curb the state's housing crisis. The first 25 high-density hubs will mostly be built in the southeast, with 20-storey high-rises proposed as part of these hubs. Ms Allan says community consultation will, of course, guide the approval process. A senior manager at Nine Entertainment has been accused of rape by a former junior female staff member. Lawyers at firm Ashurst have spoken with the woman following the media company's independent review. It's alleged the incident took place after an end-of-year celebration in 2019 in Sydney. The male manager and younger woman did not work in Nine's News and Current Affairs division. The matter has not been reported to police. The Australian newspaper this morning reporting that the woman was bullied out of the company by 2022. Sydney's entertainment quarter at Moore Park is in line for a major facelift. The state government is holding an open tender process for the long-term lease and redevelopment of the site. Plans include a new concert venue with capacity for up to 20,000 people. The massive redevelopment is hoped to transform the tired inner-city precinct into a show business juggernaut. It's one of the country's biggest celebrations, all in the name of a very good cause. WA's telethon has brought together some of Australia's favourite entertainers for 26 hours of fun to raise money for children with illnesses. Some wonderful dancing there. We'll see more of that later on. More than $83.25 million has been raised. Well done, WA. An extraordinary effort. We're checking Monday's weather now around the country. Mostly sunny in Brisbane and 28. A possible shower in Sydney and 21. Sunny in Canberra and 24. Mostly sunny in Melbourne and 25. Some cloud clearing in Hobart and 22. Mostly sunny in Adelaide and 30. Partly cloudy in Perth and 20. A shower or two in Darwin and 34 degrees. Well, coming up on Sunrise Early News this morning, devastation as freak flooding wreaks havoc in Italy. And Donald Trump gets behind the fryer working a shift at Macca's. See the video next. Well, Donald Trump can add a new skill set to his resume, with the former US president learning how to cook fries during a visit to McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Let's go live to US correspondent Tim Lester. Tim, morning. Now, we know Donald's a big fan of the Big Mac, ordering Macca's to the White House. So how did he go shaking fries today?
Hello, Eddie. Well, I think he went very well for his main purpose, which was as a photo opportunity, obviously, for the election coming up on November 5th. Probably the best photo opportunity we've seen in this campaign, pre-planned one at least so far. Getting inside McDonald's and turning his hand to cooking a few fries and then handing them out the window to surprise motorists. Quite a remarkable moment. But Donald Trump had a very clear intention with this, though. Kamala Harris, his rival, has made part of her campaign the claim that when a college student 40 years ago, she worked in McDonald's, so she understands the lower income earning segment of the community. Donald Trump says that is a flat out lie and went to McDonald's to make the point on Kamala Harris's 60th birthday. They sang to her in Georgia. So the two campaigns out there competing, and Kamala Harris very happy to get the happy birthday. So there you go. Happy birthday from the congregation in Georgia. But the question that Donald Trump wants out there, is she a liar, on the question of her work history at McDonald's, is probably the one that will get most of the promotion today. From the president, happy birthday to my dear friend, partner and remarkable leader, Kamala Harris. Just over 2 weeks to go to voting day, Eddie, and still no clear lead for either candidate in the polls.
Yeah, it's very close, isn't it? Very interesting. Thank you, Tim. Still overseas, at least 87 people have been killed and more than 40 injured in an Israeli airstrike on northern Gaza. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said a number of people were still under the rubble after a residential area was hit. In recent weeks, the Israeli military has been carrying out intense bombardment of the area, saying it wanted to prevent Hamas fighters from regrouping there. One person is dead after torrential rain in Italy sparked widespread flooding. Several regions in northern and central Italy have been inundated, leaving residents trapped and several towns completely underwater. The heavy rains causing several rivers to burst their banks. Firefighters have rescued more than 300 people, with several towns and villages evacuated. Pope Francis has declared 14 new saints of the Roman Catholic Church during a ceremony at the Vatican. Among those canonised were the 11 Martyrs of Damascus, a group of Franciscan friars killed in Syria in 1860 who are refusing to renounce their faith and convert to Islam. Thousands of Catholic pilgrims gathered in St Peter's Square to witness the ceremony. Checking finance now, the Dow Jones is up 36 points, the Nasdaq gained 115. In London, the FT 100 fell 26 and Germany's DAX added 73. On the commodities market, gold is trading at $2,721 an ounce. Oil is $69 a barrel. The Aussie dollar is buying 67 US cents, 100 Japanese yen and $1.10 New Zealand. Wild weather in France has brought the sea right into the street in the coastal city of Saint-Malo. Waves crashed onto roads, drenching onlookers and swamping cars following a strong wave warning. Dozens of people gathered at the oceanfront, laughing and cheering as they got wet with the gushing water. While it's fun to watch, locals are also being warned to steer clear of the water, with regions along France's western coastline on yellow alert. Well, coming up on Sunrise Early News this morning, a Brisbane resident comes face-to-face with young armed thugs. See what happened next. And organisers bow to public pressure, bringing back a much-loved event to South Australia, bigger and better than ever. Sydney's WestConnect has become a racetrack for some high-speed hoons. Drivers have been posting and boasting their antics, uploading videos of themselves, pushing their cars to the limit in the middle of the night.
Holy
Motorists doing more than 45 kilometres an hour over the limit in the tunnels have been hit with $1.3 million in fines in the last financial year. That makes up 18% of all speed camera penalties statewide. A fed-up resident has come face-to-face with armed teens who tried kicking down the door of her Pallara home. The trio had a screwdriver, a hammer and a knife ready to break in, but they were spooked when they were spotted by the resident, Harpreet Singh. Here's what happened.
I saw one of the kids was trying to jump through the door, but he saw me and then just said and then ran back to the car and they drove away.
They took off in a stolen blue Volkswagen. It's understood the trio have tried breaking into a number of homes across South Brisbane. There's welcome news this morning for adults suffering with insomnia, anxiety and pain. Far from being just a gimmick, new studies found weighted blankets are an effective drug-free way to help you rest easy.
The internet is warming to weighted blankets.
It's so heavy. Just really cosy. It's been so comforting.
They're now sold out just about everywhere, supporters saying they're like a giant embrace.
It has that cosy feeling of kind of being hugged.
But do they do what they claim? New Flinders University research indicates they're living up to their hype, offering significant benefits for adults dealing with insomnia, anxiety and pain.
It was people across the lifespan and with diverse range of medical conditions that helped them fall to sleep. So whether they were ruminating, it helped them calm and get to sleep.
Makes you feel really comfortable, so the anxious feelings aren't as hectic.
Researchers looked at 18 existing studies that investigated the use of weighted blankets, and while the benefits for adults were clear, they weren't as strong for kids, with limited sleep improvement found in those with ADHD and autism. When choosing a weighted blanket, it should be no more than 12% of your body weight. You need to be able to move underneath it easily and, of course, take it off if necessary.
People can feel assured that it is a safe intervention option. I think as long as you're looking at that body weight ratio.
I would definitely say give it a try.
Michaela Kamarek, 7 News.
Well, Tour Down Under organisers have caved to public pressure announcing the 2025 community ride will return bigger and better than ever. Entry costs for the Dawn ride have been lowered to entice thousands of people to dust off their bikes and start training to get ready.
This is special, riding on the race route, riding under the arch, starting and finishing in the same place that the pros do.
The community ride was canned due to dwindling attendance and rising costs. There's only 95 days to go before cycling lovers can hit the track and get pedalling like a pro. Well, coming up on Sunrise Early News this morning, heartbreak for an Aussie boxing star and a shock beatdown for the world title. Diamond stun the world champion Aussie's disastrous start to the Constellation Cup. And a closer look at how the weather's shaping up in your part of the country with a live look at Brisbane on a Monday. Checking sport now, and Tim Tszju's quest to become a dual world boxing champion ended in total shock. Even with Kostya in his corner against Bakram Mutazaliev, it was clear Tszju still had mental scars from his bloodbath against Sebastian Fundora. The undefeated IBF super welterweight champion knocked Tszju down 3 times in what was a brutal second round barrage.
How is he still up, Tim Tszju? He's not now. He goes down hard.
Tszju was floored for a 4th time in round 3 before younger brother Nikita threw in the towel. MacArthur kick-started their A-League campaign in emphatic fashion, thrashing Perth Glory 6-1 at Campbelltown Stadium. The Bulls fired in all 6 of their strikes by the hour mark to seal their biggest ever league victory.
Valerjaman from Yakulish's cross. 6 of the best for the Bulls.
Western United struck in the 76th minute to salvage a 1-1 draw with Wellington Phoenix. One of the all-time great motor racers produced a classic at Phillip Island. Marc Marquez slipped on his own visor tear and slipped out of the top 10 in a near-incident-free Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix. The 6-time MotoGP world champion charged back to win a duel with championship leader Jorge Martin. It was his 62nd Premier Class win.
Marc Marquez brings the thunder down under.
Aussie 19-year-old Senna Aegis finished third in Moto2, but celebrating his first podium didn't go so well. Lovely to see the flag flying. The Diamonds opened their Constellation Cup title defence with disaster dismantled by New Zealand in Game 1 in Wellington. The world champion Aussies were outclassed 64-50. It's their worst defeat to the Silver Ferns in over a decade of play.
They continue their dominance at home. That's now 7 in a row in New Zealand.
The Diamonds will look to bounce back from their second heaviest defeat in Cup history in Game 2. That's on Wednesday night. We're taking a look at the weather around the country for a Monday. Around the capital, it's mostly sunny in Brisbane and 28. Possible showers in Sydney and 21. Sunny in Canberra and 24. Mostly sunny in Melbourne and 25. Cloud clearing in Hobart and 22. Mostly sunny day in Adelaide and 30. Partly cloudy in Perth and 20. And a shower or two in Darwin and 34 degrees today. And that's Sunrise Early News. I'm Edwina Bartholomew. Now it's time for Sunrise with Nat and Shervo.
A royal welcome. The King and Queen charm adoring fans in Sydney. Next stop, Canberra. Special coverage live.
Melbourne jewellery store smash and grab. Live to the manhunt after thieves hit